to the Marly Bird YouTube channel, brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. This is the 4th video of the Marly Bird Popular Poncho Crochet-along. You have made it. You've completed panel 1, panel 2, seam those panels together and add your edging, and now it's time for the neckline. Just as I mentioned in video 3, I like to have choices when I'm making something. So I've given you 4 different necklines you can choose from for your poncho. Just as you had different choices for the edging of your poncho, you too have choices for the neckline. You can go very simple, you can go fairly dramatic, you could go turtleneck, or you could go just a really simple cowl. All 4 choices will be a hit for your poncho no matter what. I can't wait to see what all of you do. If this is the first time you've caught one of these videos, don't worry, the other 3 videos are available. You can find a link to them right down there in the video notes, along with the free pattern. While you're down there, go ahead and smash that like button just to get that out of the way while you're down there, okay? Yes, this is a free pattern that is available on marlybird.com, and at the conclusion of the crochet along, it will also be available in PDF format on redheart.com. In this video and the previous 3 videos, I've been using the version of the pattern from marlybird.com, which is linked in the video notes below and will be available forever. So don't worry if you decide, you know what, I want to have the PDF download, but I also want to follow along with the video. You can do that. Totally your choice, no problem. Now, what is this big pile of stuff right here in front of me? I'm sure you've been wondering. You're like, why does she have all this stuff in front of her? Well, these are actually the 4 sample ponchos that were completed. You saw me working on this one during the duration of the videos. This is the one I made out of Red Heart Unforgettable in Cappuccino. You remember that? This is what we used for all of the ponchos that I made here. It's the Red Heart Unforgettable. Well, the Cappuccino one is complete. I did scallops on the edge, and then I did a real simple crab stitch edging on the neckline. Besides that one, we have one made out of stained glass with a real dramatic cowl right here, and it has a crab stitch edging as I go on. We have the one out of Tidal, and it has a turtleneck and dramatic fringe, ooh la la. And last but certainly not least, we have the one that I did out of Tealberry, and it has a beautiful simple cowl, and it has the fun dreadlock fringe. As you can see, each one of these ponchos is unique in and of themselves, and I could mix and match the edgings and the necklines as much as I want. I can also wear these ponchos with the first panel on the front or the back. There is no rhyme or reason. It doesn't matter which way you wear it, unless you added buttons. I think the buttons look better on the front. But again, that's totally your prerogative. You can wear the poncho however you want. I am so thrilled with all of you who are making these ponchos, and I'm excited to jump in and show you how to do this neckline. So let's start off the same way we do all the time. Go get that pattern and let's review the pattern as it's written on marlybird.com so that way you know where we are in the instructions. All right? Go do that. Right now. Hurry. I'll wait. Go get it. We have the pattern from marlybird.com. Let's go ahead and take a look. Just as in the other videos where we have reviewed all the patterns, we know that we are on section 4, and there is a hyperlink directly to the other 3 sections right there on marlybird.com. We have the image to remind us what it is we're making. We have a direct link to our Ravelry pattern so that if you want to go over there and cue it up and keep notes, you can do that. And then at the bottom, there is a direct link to all the details regarding the Marly Bird poncho. I'm going to turn my page, or if you're following along on your computer, you would scroll and you continue on with the pattern. Now, this is the same as the other videos where we have the pattern, we're working on section 4, abbreviations, and then we have the special stitches. And the special stitches are going to be important because we'll be doing back post double crochet and front post double crochet, which we're used to from doing the raised chevron stitch, right? And then we're going to do back post double crochet 2 together and front post double crochet 2 together. Again, we're no strangers to that. Single crochet 2 together and crab stitch are also 2 other options. So as I go ahead and I turn the page or scroll, whatever works for you, you can see where I've started off talking about the neckline. And it says, the time has come for you to make the decision about the neckline of your poncho. There are 4 different neckline instructions written for you to choose from. You'll see right here it says designer note. take a look at how much yarn you have remaining and be conscientious of the neckline you choose. If you choose one that requires a lot of yarn, aka the dramatic cowl, you might want to make sure that you have enough yarn to finish it. This is the reason I had you guys do the edging first. I wanted to make sure that you had enough yarn for sure to get around the edging of your choice. Knowing that when you chose your neckline, if you decided, okay, I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna do the turtleneck, but you start working on it and you begin to run out of yarn, well, you still have a cowl neck if you choose to do that. Or if you decide, okay, I wanna do the turtleneck, but it looks like I'm running short on yarn for whatever reason it might be, you'll know, okay, I can either go get some more yarn or I could be happy with the cowl neck. I hope that makes sense. This is a way for me just to make sure that you did have enough yarn to complete the edging, because you can't just get halfway through an edging and decide, oh, well, I decided I'd do something different and I'm just gonna leave that the way it is, right? You can't do that. But with a neckline, you can make changes on the fly and it's a lot more forgiving. That's why we did the edging first and we waited for the neckline to be the last part of the project that we do. You'll also see down here that if you decided to alter your panels, whether you made them wider or longer or did any sort of alteration where your neckline around your neck is going to be a different measurement than what the pattern actually states, you will have to make adjustments for that. Well, that isn't exactly really hard to do. What you're going to have to do is really be creative with it. You might have to add a few more stitches to make sure your stitches aren't pulling around your neckline, and then decrease those stitches around to get rid of those extra stitches that you did. Or maybe you'll have to do fewer stitches if for some reason your neckline's smaller. You can play with this. Don't be a slave to the pattern, okay? Don't say, okay, I have to do so many stitches around this entire round in order to stay on cue. If you need to alter that to make it look good for your poncho, please go ahead and do that, okay? So there's a little designer note about that right there. As we carry on, you'll see that the first neckline pattern we come to is the simple no frills crab stitch, which is really easy, and that's the one I chose to do on the poncho I made out of cappuccino colorway. Then we get to the shallow cowl neck, and that's the neckline I did for the tealberry colorway. That's the one that has the dreadlocks. And then you carry on and you get to the fold over turtleneck, and that's the one I did in the title colorway. And then the very last one is the dramatic cowl neck, and that's the one I did in the stained glass colorway. Super beautiful. It takes a lot of yarn, so you want to make sure that you really plan for that. But man, is it pretty. It's really nice and lovely to wear. As I turn the page on the final one, you'll see that it's the video for this particular poncho, and then so on and so forth. Last but not least, a link directly to the Facebook group. If you want to participate in this cowl, even after the crochet along is over, you can still join the Facebook group. It will be there forever. This is actually a permanent Facebook group that I will use for all of my crochet alongs. So if you want to join in, who knows, maybe we're on the next crochet along or 5 crochet alongs down. I have no idea, but don't be afraid. Come and join the Facebook group, because they are a wonderful bunch of men and women in there, and you will not be disappointed. So now that we've gone over the pattern and we have an idea of how to read this pattern, let's go ahead and jump in and see how we would divide our neckline so that way we can do our stitches evenly and then learn how to do the stitches. What's really great about these necklines is they all start off the same way, by doing a round of half double crochets to begin. The hardest part when doing a round of half double crochets to begin is doing them evenly. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I divide up my neckline to make sure that I get an even count. Those of you who watched video 3, you'll recognize this just a little bit. As you take a look down here, you can see I have a muy pequeño little poncho, and this obviously is not the same stitch we used, but it's the same technique as far as how the poncho was joined. This is my little neck opening up here. So I found it easier to work with this little poncho than working with a big one to demonstrate everything today. If this were my regular size poncho, I know that for the simple no frills, I have to pick up 108 stitches around this section. So what I would want to do is I would bring in my mini knit clips again. Remember those? I showed you those when we were talking about doing the edging and seaming together the stitches in video 3. These mini knit clips are fantastic because they are just like regular old clips, but you see that post right there? That post goes through that little hole and it links together and it puts a really great spot, like it's a good indicator in your work. So you can use these to seam, but then I'm going to use it actually to point off different sections of my neckline, just like I did in the edging. So if I were to take my little knit clip and maybe I put it right there at the point, and then I will put it right over here on the opposite side at the point. And I could come over here and I could divide right up here and at that point. And then maybe I take another one and I divide up here at that point. Great, now I have my little neckline divided up into 4 sections. So I could divide out my 108 stitches and I could do 27, 27, 27, 27, and I have a point of reference. So that way I don't have to accidentally try and get them all on there and reach my 108 right here when I still have all this way to go. I can make them as even as possible. Now obviously this is a little tiny example, and you might need to section yours off a little bit more than just this little 4 clips. Maybe you want 8 clips. You can add as many or as few clips as you want. They're purely there for a convenience for you to be able to separate your neckline and help you divide out your stitches. Once your neckline is separated like this, you would begin by doing your half double crochets. So with the right side facing, you would grab your yarn. Now obviously I'm using different yarn and I'm using a different colored yarn to demonstrate this because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. And you will join with a slip stitch anywhere along the neck edge. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove that clip just so I can start right here at the bottom edge. And to join with a slip stitch, it's as simple as putting your hook into the edge, and you can decide whether you put it into a stitch or if you put it around a stitch. Whatever you decide, be consistent with it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go into the stitch, I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and then do a slip stitch, which is yarn over and pull that through. So I've secured that yarn with a slip stitch. Now the instructions say to go ahead and chain 2, and that will not count as a stitch now and throughout. And the instructions continue on by saying work 108 half double crochets evenly around the neck edge. Well, obviously I'm not going to get 108 stitches from there to there, but let's learn how to do a half double crochet. You yarn over your hook, go into the next space, stitch, whatever you decide, yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, draw through all 3 loops, and then you yarn over your hook, go over to the next stitch or space, whatever you decide, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 3, yarn over your hook, go into the next stitch or space or whatever you decide, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 3. Now you can see here I'm getting pretty consistent, pretty even stitches right there. So if I was working along, I would be pretty happy with that as long as I got the correct number of stitches I needed before I got to that marker. I hope that makes sense. So that's what you would do. You would do half double crochets all the way around, and you would end with a slip stitch to the top of this chain 2. So let me go ahead and just do half double crochets all the way around this opening to show you how to do the slip stitch join, okay? I'm at the end of my round and I'm going to do a slip stitch into the second chain of my joining chain. So I'm just doing a slip stitch right there, and I will not turn my work. The second part of the instructions say I will chain 2, and this would be a decrease round for the simple no frills crab stitch. So I would chain 2, work a half double crochet in each of the next 10 stitches. Okay, so let's just pretend I would do a half double crochet in 10 stitches, and then I would do a half double crochet 2 together. So here's how we would do that. For a half double crochet 2 together, you yarn over your hook, go into the stitch, yarn over your hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over your hook, go into the next stitch, yarn over your hook, pull up a loop. So you have 5 loops on your hook. You will yarn over and draw through all 5 loops. And that completes a half double crochet 2 together, and you would work that stitch after you would do a half double crochet in 10 stitches and then do the half double crochet together in stitch number 11 and number 12 all the way around. Once you've done that, you will join once again with a slip stitch at the very end, and you will have a total of 99 stitches. Once we've reached the 99 stitches, you will then do the crab stitch, which is just like what we learned in video 3, but I'll give you a reminder right here, that we are at the end of round 2, okay? So we're gonna pretend, and this is where we would start round 3, and round 3 is where we would do our crab stitch, which is also called reverse single crochet. So for a reverse single crochet, you take your hook, you go behind the stitch you're working on, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Go behind the stitch you're working on, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Go behind the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. Go behind the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. If I carried on, I get this really great rope look, and that is what the crab stitch looks like. So I'm going to set this aside and let's pull in the finished poncho so that you guys can take a look at what this one looks like. And here is the cappuccino poncho, and this is my neckline. This is my beautiful, I did 2 rounds of half double crochet and then the beautiful crab stitch all the way around, and it lays just beautifully. I had pictures of myself taken in this one. Why don't you take a look at that, and then we'll move on to the shallow cowl instructions. Pretty cute, right? Now it's time to take a look at the shallow cowl instructions. What's really great is we've already worked through how to join with a slip stitch, which is the same for these instructions, how to divide our neckline up so that we can get 108 half double crochets, which is the same part of these instructions. Round 2 is where the instructions start to differ, and that's what we're going to jump in with right here. So as we pick up our work, we can see that we have gone ahead and worked through round 1, and it's time to begin round 2. Round 2 begins with a chain 2, and then we will do a back post double crochet around the next stitch. So I'm going to yarn over my hook, and I'm going to come in here to the back of the stitch. Can you see I'm to the back of the stitch? I'm going to come back around, that's the stitch right there, right here, around it and come back, grab the yarn, and I will make the same path all the way back. Yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. Now I have to do a front post double crochet in the next stitch. Yarn over my hook, go in from the right side around the back of that post to the left side, yarn over, have that hook travel back the same path, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. Now I go ahead and I repeat those instructions. Yarn over my hook, come to from the back side, go in from the right of that post, over top of it, out the left, yarn over, have my hook travel that same path, and now I'm ready to do just a regular old double crochet. And I would do a front post double crochet in the next one. I'm alternating back post and front post, and what this is going to do is going to give me a really great ribbed type look. And now I would do back post and then front post and so on and so forth. The biggest thing with this is that you want to make sure that you have an even count. So you want to make sure you have an even number of half double crochets all the way around, because we started with a back post double crochet. We want to make sure that we end with a front post double crochet. When I get to the end of this round, I will join with a slip stitch to the top of my beginning chain 2. At the end of my round, as I mentioned, I will join with a slip stitch to the second chain of my beginning chain, and I'll move on to round 3. Now round 3 in these instructions is a decrease round, and we will do a decrease over front post double crochets. So we will do a front post double crochet 2 together, and let me show you how to do that. Round 3 begins with the chain 2, just like normal, and we will start off with a back post double crochet around the other back post double crochet we did on the previous round, and you will do a front post double crochet in the next one. And you would do that every time you see a back post, you would work a back post. Every time you see a front post, you'd work a front post. After you worked it 7 times, you have to do 1 back post double crochet, and then we'll do the decrease. The decrease is worked like this. You yarn over your hook, go around as you're doing a front post double crochet, yarn over your hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over your hook, draw through 2 and stop. Yarn over your hook, go all the way over to the next front post double crochet. So we will skip this back post double crochet. We will go around that front post double crochet and work it just like we're doing it. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. So we have 3 loops left on our hook. You yarn over, draw through all 3 loops. So we have just decreased 2 stitches because we've skipped over the back post, and then we've created these 2 stitches here have now become 1. So we've eliminated 2 stitches. You will now repeat from star a total of 5 times more, meaning you will do the back post double crochet, the front post double crochet 7 times, the back post double crochet once, and then the front post double crochet 2 together once. And once you've done that whole thing there 5 more times, you will have decreased 12 stitches and you'll be down to 96 stitches. Once you complete round 3, you move on to rounds 4, 5, and 6, which are just a repeat of round 2, which means you will do front post double crochet on the front post, back post double crochet on the back post. Then on round 7, you have another choice. You can work another decrease round, totally up to you, so that your cowl will be a little bit more narrowed in on you, or you just carry on doing round 2 again through round 12. So you would just carry on without any shaping through round 12. Once you're past round 12, round 13, 14, 15, and 16 are just single crochet rounds. Well, you know how to do that, really simple. And then you finish off your work and tuck in your ends, and that is done. So let's take a look at this cowl so you can see what the finished product looks like. This one's one of my favorites. You guys know that because I love the dreadlock fringe. And this particular cowl, you can see here the front post and back post double crochet give a really cool ribbed look. And then up here at the top, this is where you get your single crochet edge, and that really just makes it just hang really nice, and it kind of comes in if you want to, or you can pop it out. It just made it lay really great, so I love the way that looks. And you can see here just the 1 row of half double crochets really just pull in the fabric right here into the neckline, and as this is worn, it covers those half double crochets, so they never really show, if they show it at all. But it's these post stitches that are the stars. They look really cool. You can see here this cowl, it is not very long. I could grab a measure here and just put this right up here and say, you know, it's a little more than 5 inches, so it's really not that long. But this is the shallow cowl. You guys ready to move on and take a look at the fold over turtleneck? All right, before I do that, go ahead and take a look at me wearing the shallow cowl so you can see what it looks like on somebody, and then I will talk you through the turtleneck. The fold over turtleneck. A favorite in any wardrobe for the fall and winter season, don't you think? What's really great about completing this fold over turtleneck is that I just taught you how to do it. No joke. You start this fold over turtleneck the same way we did the shallow cowl. Only difference here is that on round 7, you will do that extra decrease so that it brings in that cowl portion a little bit more. But instead of stopping and doing single crochets after round 12, you will continue on just doing your front post and back post rounds through round 32. So you get this really great height to your project. So let's take a look down here. You can see that just like before, we have our nice half double crochet showing up down here at the bottom where the two panels meet. And then we have great ribbing happening right here. And that's all done. Look how stretchy it is by the front post and back post stitches. But see how the shaping comes right here and it starts to come up like so? That's because of those decrease rounds. So we had our first round of decreases and then our second round of decreases, and then it was just straight up until round 32. And so this now gets folded over, and that's how you have your turtleneck. Pretty simple, right? Isn't that great? It's, like I said, it's one of the reasons I had you do the edging first so you could do your neckline second, because you could start off wanting this and then get up through the first decrease and decide, you know what, I really don't want the turtleneck, I want the cowl neck, and stop there. Or maybe you finish the cowl neck, wear it for a couple times, you decide, you know what, I'm a little chilly, I think I'd like the turtleneck. You could just rip out those single crochets and pick up where you left off and create yourself a turtleneck. Pretty cool, right? Yes, I modeled this one too. I'm going to make you suffer through watching me model this one so you can see what it looks like on me, on a regular person. And we will move on to the dramatic cowl. Do you think it's going to be much different than these? I bet not. So you guys want to know something funny? When I modeled that turtleneck poncho, I was so warm in that studio with the photographer. I couldn't wait to get it off because I was like, oh my gosh, it is super hot. Because I photographed it in the summer and I was like, woo! So make sure if you make yourself that one with the turtleneck, be prepared to stay nice and toasty. Now, the dramatic cowl. This is one of my favorites, and I got it back from my contractor and I put it on. I was like, oh, I just love this. I love how drapey and sensual the cowl neck is, and I just thought it was perfect. And what's really awesome is that you already know how to do this just based on the simple instructions that I've already given you. The difference between the dramatic cowl and the other ones that I have shown you so far today is that you will actually work more stitches around the neckline than 108. In this example, I did 136 around, and I will give you a heads up that this is really wide. So if your poncho is already falling off your shoulders and this is the cowl neck you want to do, you're going to want to do a couple extra rounds that kind of tighten up the neckline a little bit before you do the dramatic cowl. Again, once the cowl is worn and it drapes over, it will cover any cinching that you have to do to make sure that the neckline stays on. But this cowl is totally worth it. As I mentioned, there's 136 stitches, and then it jumps right into the back post, front post stitching, just like we did before. Only there is no decreasing, there is no shaping. So once you do your 136 stitches and begin your back post, front post, you just carry on. That's it. You just carry on till it's as long as you want it to be, or as long as it's written in the pattern. There are no single crochets around the top because I like to have that stretchiness. I wanted it to drape. And gosh, this is just, it's just really super pretty. You can see in the camera here, it has a lot of stretch. And as I wear it, it drapes really great. It's just super pretty. I love this. Pretty awesome, right? How one particular stitch, the back post and the front post stitch, the ribbing stitch, can get 3 different looks just by doing decreases. I think that is just amazing. And so when I said that you have a choice, you really do have a choice, but you don't have to really make your choice at the very beginning, with the exception of the dramatic cowl. You would have to do more stitches than the other 3. But you know, hey, at this point, you know what you're getting into. So I'm sure you want to take a look at me wearing this one also. Let me go ahead and throw that picture up here for you to enjoy. Hi, welcome back. I couldn't help myself, you guys. I had to put it on one last time so that you could see me wearing this really great poncho. I just love it. It is so much fun. I really hope you have enjoyed this crochet along. I tell you from the bottom of my heart, I have enjoyed watching all of your successes over on the Facebook group, and those of you who have shared with me on Instagram and on Twitter. It's been just so much fun. If you are just now joining into the crochet along, it's not too late to join with me. Make sure you come and join the Facebook group, and then every time you post about your poncho, make sure you use the hashtag MarlyBirdCAL, and I will be sure to find your poncho and give you major kudos. I love that you guys have participated along with me on this, and I hope that you will come back for other crochet alongs and knit alongs that I will have right here on the Marly Bird YouTube channel. You can know exactly when those are all going to be released if you subscribe. When you subscribe to the Marly Bird YouTube channel, you're the first one to be up to date whenever there's a new video released, or a cowl, or a knit along, or whatever it may be. As always, please smash that like button, as my kids say, and I hope you guys will come back here and join me once again. I love you so much, and thank you for participating in this crochet along. I'm Marly Bird, proud spokesperson for Red Heart Yarns. Bye! Looking for more Marly Bird? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Click right down there and you will find more videos just like this teaching you how to knit or crochet, all brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. Go ahead, click away. Don't be shy. Don't forget to smash that like button.